This is Joy News Today with me, Benis Abubedu. You just saw President Akufo-Addo interacting with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission at their 85th annual convention. Now, in our headlines, Supreme Court grants Attorney General's Department 7 days to file a response to 3 separate suits challenging the pardon granted Muntie 3 by former President John Dramani Mahama. And NPP supporters allegedly attacked caterers of the school feeding program at Asha Koko Primary School in Ijra in the Ashanti region and physically assaulting a teacher in the process. And President Akufo-Addo creates a number of additional ministries for his administration, a case of a bloated government, duplication, or a quest to ensure campaign promises are fulfilled. We'll be finding out from some governance experts. Details of these, including some stories from the world of business, sports, and international updates in the next about 40 minutes. Right now, we'll go straight to an NDC press conference, and they're addressing a number of issues.
As a responsible opposition, we are unable to continue to sit idle by while the president continues to turn a blind eye to the acts of terrorism being perpetrated since he took over the reins of leadership of this country. Friends of the media, I crave your indulgence to catalog a few of the worrying breaches that have come to our attention. Monday, January 9th, a group of young persons numbering about 30 invaded the premises of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, TEMA, and attacked management and staff and demanded to be offered immediate employment. Another noisy and indisciplined group in a convoy of 3 vehicles invaded the passport office in Accra, disrupted work and continuously intimidated staff and demanded the immediate resignation of the director, Mr. Alexander Grant in Tiakwa. The offices of NADMO Accra, the Youth Employment Agency in Tamale and Accra, the National Health Insurance offices in Tamale, and many others across the length and breadth of the country have been vandalized, and the officers subjected to threats, abuse, and physical attacks. As we speak, we have some of our supporters who are traders at Agbogboshi Market, a suburb of Accra, displaced from their market and have been sleeping at the party headquarters here to avoid being lynched by rampaging NPP hooligans. In addition to the burning of toll booths in the immediate aftermath of the election, we have also witnessed the seizure of toll booths at Adenta and Ashaman and the criminal conduct of stealing monies collected during the days of the invasion. Ladies and gentlemen, we also note with concern that the NPP constituency executives are writing letters to heads of schools to discontinue the school feeding program until further notice. We consider this act unacceptable as it represents interference by a political party in the work of a state institution and also a clear threat to law and order. We are unable to comprehend how a serving police officer, an assistant superintendent of police, head of the police detachment at the Flagstaff House, was brutally assaulted at no less a place than the Flagstaff House by Nana Akufo-Addo's goon squad, known as the Invisible Forces. The most disturbing aspect of this brutish assault on the police officer is the fact that the president and his vice were all at the seat of government when the so-called Invisible Forces meted out this bestial conduct 2 days ago. Even more horrifying is the despicable conduct of the NPP MP Fosun, personally wielding a gun and leading his thugs to attack and beat NDC supporters, including a pregnant woman. It is common knowledge that the invisible forces were used by Nana Akufo-Addo to unleash mayhem on his own party members when he was an opposition leader. Is Nana Akufo-Addo saying he is not aware of the ghoulish conduct of his invisible forces? Or is it true that we are hearing, that the invisible forces are working with the tacit approval of their boss, Nana Akufo-Addo? For how long is Nana Akufo-Addo going to support his hoodlums to unleash mayhem on innocent Ghanaians and state institutions? Nana Akufo-Addo's lack of positive and unifying leadership skills as opposition leader seriously wounded the NPP. Never should he mislead himself into believing that Ghanaians shall allow him to wound and divide this dear country of ours. The beastly conduct of Nana Akufo-Addo's invisible forces will no longer be countenanced. We are calling on civil society, religious bodies, the media, and the international community not to blame the NDC if the unacceptable conduct of Akufo-Addo's invisible forces leads to reprisal attacks. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, now the issue of the brouhaha over the accommodation for former President Mahama, the exhibition of extreme bad faith by the NPP administration is nothing but a crude and ugly attempt to divert attention from the gross embarrassment Nana Akufo-Addo has brought upon himself and Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana via the shameful plagiarism that characterized his inaugural speech. We wish to assure Nana Akufo-Addo that no amount of bad faith he exhibits will wipe away the heaps of shame and disgrace he has brought upon himself and Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. Indeed, Nana Akufo-Addo is better off apologizing to the good people of Ghana for his improper conduct of intellectual dishonesty and academic fraud, rather than continuing to show bad faith after a rather smooth transfer of authority of state to him. Ladies and gentlemen, these acts and many others that have come to our attention but may not have gained prominence represent a veritable threat to the stability of Ghana. As a party that has held power for 8 years, we have worked assiduously to build very solid foundations for peace, unity, stability, growth, and development. Never shall it be the desire of the NDC to destroy the solid foundation and legacy we have bequeathed to the NPP. We will continue to uphold the tenets of good governance and our democratic dispensation. Let a new patriotic party administration and a new president do nothing to destroy the legacy we have bequeathed to them. They have made lots of promises when seeking the mandate to govern. They have that mandate now. So let them govern and fulfill their promises rather than bring mayhem and chaos upon this nation. We have always respected our security services, and we hope that the change of government has not changed their resolve to protect peace, security, and sanctity of our country. As the late Professor Mills, of breathless memory, always said, Ghana will not die. Ghana will live to give glory and thanks to God Almighty, unquote. We thank you for coming. We thank you for your kind listening. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much.
So that's actually an NDC press conference addressing issues of violence alleged to have been purported by some NPP supporters and sympathizers, and National Chairman of the NDC, Mr. Portafi there, calling on civil societies, religious bodies and international organizations not to blame the NDC if there are any reprisals. And he also commented on the former president's accommodation issue, and he says that that was deliberately put into the public domain to sway attention from President Akufo-Addo's plagiarism issue. And so that was that press conference. We'll bring you some more updates from there. Now, Obviously, you've heard the reports of various attacks and alleged takeover of public facilities by youth groups believed to be supporters of the MPP since President Akufo-Addo won last month's election. The offices of the NHIA, NADMO, the Passport Office, among others, were attacked early this week by these MPP activists. The police is yet to make any concrete arrests and any public pronouncement on the ongoing attacks. Now, my colleague Hannah Odame is joining us from the police headquarters, where she's been speaking to Superintendent Cephas Arthur.
A day before yesterday. So, sometimes investigation takes time. But just as the late professor said, the late president said that justice, the wheel of justice, grind, slowly, but eventually it gets to its destination. So, while in some cases we are able to make arrests there and then, in other cases we have to conduct some painstaking investigation in order to get at the perpetrators, arrest them. I can assure you that these post-inauguration disturbances that we are recording, the perpetrators behind them are also going to be brought before book. They are also going to be brought to book, just as those that took place in the post-declaration have been brought to book.
So if you say that you will, doesn't mean you will arrest, doesn't mean you have started your investigations prior to your arrest, because that will serve as a deterrent.
That is so. We have commenced investigations already.
Exactly where? Which areas?
In all the cases that you have recorded, I've just mentioned the Asokorema Mpong case where the youth attempted to lock up the municipal assembly. Asokwa, also in Ashanti, where the youth also attempted to seize the toilet facility there. Let me also say Afienya disturbances, Tobu disturbances, Tema Port, Tema Harbor attacks or invasion. Let me also mention all this one. I hope you also have them already. Personnel of National Health Insurance, the office were also attacked by some youth. Another one happened at Sanelerugu, Central Region, Mori. They attempted to also take over the Mori toll booth. Then at Simpra also toll booth too. They also attempted to take it.
And some NADMO offices.
And some NADMO offices in Accra here.
Okay. So does it mean that you never got there when they were in the act of?
In some of the cases, when we got there, they had fled. It is sometimes.
Did you get there in any of the cases where they were into the act?
Definitely.
And did you arrest anybody there and then?
Sometimes you have to be very strategic in carrying out some of these things. You look at your number at the time you get there, look at the number of the people, and you take certain actions in security situations. Sometimes you take identification, and then later, when it is most appropriate to go in and arrest, you go and pick them one by one, just as we did in the post-declaration. And now we have got about 15 people. Some of them are facing court action. Others are still pending investigation. So let us assure them. And as I speak, the IGP, or let me say the police administration, has issued instructions. In fact, I would even say instructions, directives to all regional commanders that for those of them who have some infractions, breaches of the peace relating to the election taking place within their jurisdiction, he's giving them up to next week, Friday, to produce results, submit action taken, arrest made, and everything to the headquarters so that we can proceed. Let me also say that we are also dialoguing with various segments of the society, including the seat of the new government, and including other political parties, including other civil society organizations, who are all proffering their support to the police. Let me say it, who are all, including the seat of government, where yesterday there was a meeting between the top police hierarchy and the chief of staff and his and her team regarding some of these incidents and finding amicable solution to them. Security is not all about going into arrest, but also holding discussions, holding dialogues to ensure that we prevent. You understand it? Everybody wants prevention, except that there's nowhere that prevention can totally achieve entire distance. The goal. That is why you put in reactive measures also. Okay,
so when you talk about prevention, these ones have happened. Yes. What are you doing to prevent more occurrences, similar occurrences?
That is fantastic. One is that we are holding discussions, dialogue with some of these stakeholders, political parties, civil society organizations. We are holding discussion with even talking to you. We are educating the public, religious leaders, just as we did before the elections, and we achieved success, such that during the election itself, which was the kind of Achilles heel of the entire nation, no incident was recorded. You understand it? That's what we want to do again, because this issue is becoming something like institutionalized. After a change of government, some of these things happen. So is it a matter of just security issue, or is a social matter that must be approached from all segments or all sectors or from all fronts? It is in recognition of this that the police is approaching it from all fronts. We are bringing everybody on board. And it's so interesting, it's so refreshing that all sectors of society are supporting the police, like I mentioned.
But how exactly will that curb these acts?
Oh, no, when the people of Ghana dialogue, discuss this issue extensively, and they come to a consensus, that's where we are talking about the court of public opinion. If we all agree, this is a multi-sectorial, multifaceted issue. If you all agree, the media discuss it, you condemn it. Social commentators come on your networks and they discuss it, they condemn it. Political parties, politicians also discuss it and condemn it and go to the extent, the extra mile of giving away those who perpetrated, those within their fold who perpetrated. And the police also come in. We do our work, we arrest and we put before court. And they go to court, and the judiciary also do their work and ensure that people who fall foul of the law, who are also convicted or they are also punished, then it means that all segments of society are now condemned. It gets to a time that it will not be part of our political culture again.
That actually sounds like a long-term measure. Before that happens, the seizures are going on, and these burning and the undisciplined acts are ongoing. Before we get to that long-term plan, what immediate measures will you put in place as the head of security?
The interim or the immediate measures we are talking about is what we are enforcing right now. The police going in any time such activities are going on, or the police deploying ahead of time to put measures in place. To put measures in place to prevent. As we speak, some personnel have been detailed to the passport office.
Yeah, we know that. We were there, we realized that.
Some personnel have been detailed to the NADMO office. Some personnel have been detailed to the Temaport. Okay. They are there to provide the immediate measures.
Okay, so bear in mind that other state institutions are also targets. Are you there as well?
We are picking our intelligence.
Are you there as well?
We are supposed to be, we are there. And you don't always have to see us physically. Sometimes we have mufti personnel who are there picking pieces of intelligence. Anytime there is a move on the part of any group of persons to come there, before they get there, we are there.
Okay. So are you assuring that you are protecting state institutions?
That is so. It's a combination of so many operational strategies, and we are committed to providing or to protecting all state institutions, vital installations, and all persons, all manner of persons in our society. In fact, we shall continue to do our investigation in cases where people perpetrated acts of lawlessness or breach the peace and managed to escape. We shall continue until we get at them and bring them to book, just as we have been able to bring these people to book. It's our hope that this case that is being handled at the Chifu or is being handled by the Himan Traditional Council is brought to a very logical conclusion where perpetrators are dealt with. I know definitely if they are not, whatever the decision they reach, whatever decision that the Traditional Council reaches, they will have to go back to the court.
But Ghanaians would like to ask, for how long should we wait for you to be able to get a lot of these people prosecuted to serve as a deterrent?
That's why I'm saying that it is a multi-sectorial issue. The police will play their part. And you see, here we have the traditional council also coming in. The court is also in. The political parties are also in. So then I can't answer an aspect of this question which is related to the courts. For instance, in taking the case of the...
But you haven't taken any of them to court so far. I mean, I'm talking about the post-inauguration one.
Oh, the post-inauguration, I'm saying that we are investigating. Okay. We shall get to them. And that is why I took the pain to go back to the post-declaration where there were similar disturbances and we could not even get, in most of the cases, we could not get the perpetrators in action. But after they had acted and gone and thinking that they had absconded, the long hands of the law, the long hands of the police managed to decipher and get hold of them. And we have brought them now before courts. So it means that you can commit and succeed in escaping today, but tomorrow you'll be caught by the police and brought before the law.
Do you have some persons you are investigating right now?
Yes, we are investigating some people.
So that's my colleague Hannah Odam in a conversation with the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Cephas Arthur, on what the police service is doing in dealing with the forceful takeovers of some state institutions by MPP supporters. You're watching Joy News today with me, Benis Abubedi. When I come back, I'll be telling you about the new twist to the Muntie 3 case. Please stay with us.